There is a moment when the world goes quiet. A divine pause where everything aligns, not on the outside but in you. A hush beneath the noise, a stillness behind the chaos, a whisper, soft, steady, certain. It doesn't shout, it doesn't beg, it doesn't argue for attention. It simply says, move, go, begin, take the first step. And in that moment, you are offered the most powerful gift of all: instruction, divine guidance, a signal from something higher, wiser, already finished. But most people miss it. Not because they didn't hear, but because they didn't move. They wanted more proof. They wanted permission. They wanted guarantees, and so they waited. But the law does not wait. The law of divine supply moves in rhythm, and rhythm requires response. You've done this before, haven't you? You felt the call. You sensed the shift. You knew something was yours, but you hesitated. You paused, overthought, asked 10 people for advice, and by the time you circled back to action, the moment had evaporated. That window you once saw, closed. That energy that once flowed toward you, gone. Because hesitation is resistance, and resistance repels. Divine obedience is not just about morality. It's about momentum. Every delay creates drag. Every doubt interrupts flow. Every time you say not yet to spirit, you place a wall where there was a door. You must understand this now, clearly, fully. Obedience is magnetic. Hesitation is repellent. The rich are not always smarter. They are not always more talented, but they are often more responsive. They feel the whisper and they act. They don't wait for the committee to agree. They don't wait for the fear to disappear. They don't wait for the numbers to make sense. They move anyway, because they've learned what heaven values most: speed of trust. When spirit whispers, do you pause? When the inner voice rises, do you analyze? When the next right step shows up, do you ask for 3 more signs? You are not being tested on how well you can understand. You're being trained on how deeply you can obey. Because the promise is always attached to the path, and the path does not appear to the overthinker, only to the one who moves. Think of all the times you disobeyed your own spirit. You knew not to send that message, but did. You knew to speak up, but stayed silent. You knew to leave, but lingered in fear. And each time, you felt it afterward, that sting, that regret, that ache that says, I knew better, I just didn't listen. Listening is not enough. You must act. You must obey. Because the spiritual realm doesn't deliver on hearing alone. It delivers on motion. The law says, move first, and the path appears. Not the other way around. You may be praying for money, but Spirit is giving you motion. You may be asking for overflow, but heaven is waiting for your obedience, because what you think is a money problem is actually a movement problem. You're not stuck because you lack resources. You're stuck because you're hesitating. And hesitation is the most expensive choice you'll ever make. It has cost you years. It has cost you doors. It has cost you peace. And now it ends. Because from this moment forward, you will trust faster. You will respond quicker. You will move with the whisper, not after it. Because you are done paying the price of delay. You are ready to step into the wealth that's been waiting for your yes. Every single time you delay, you detour your destiny. not because you are being punished, not because you are unworthy, but because flow responds to faith, and faith moves immediately. Not when it's comfortable, not when it's logical, not when everyone claps for you. Faith moves first. This is a spiritual law, and spiritual laws are not sentimental. They are not moved by tears. They are moved by alignment. They do not care how badly you want it. They only respond when your action says yes. And action without delay is the highest proof of trust. Say that again to yourself and let it echo. Action without delay is the highest proof of trust. Most people want confirmation before they move. They want the path to be smooth, the sky to be clear, the money to appear first. But spirit never works that way. The instruction always comes before the increase. The door always requires motion to open. The supply always meets the step, not the stall. That's why the rich don't wait to feel ready. They understand that readiness is revealed in the doing. That's the secret you've been overlooking. Not readiness, but response. There is a window, a gate, a sacred moment when you know it's time, but you only have a few breaths to honor it. Ignore it too long and it closes, not out of punishment, but protection. The spirit won't drag you, it invites you. And if you say no too long, it steps back, until you're ready to say yes. Not in thought, but in action. Let's get honest. How many blessings have you blocked because you needed more time? How many divine ideas did you bury under your overthinking? How many doors were held open until your hesitation made them vanish? This is not to shame you. This is to wake you. Because the blessing isn't gone. It's just waiting. Waiting for a new version of you. The you that moves with trust. The you that doesn't flinch. The you that obeys the whisper on the first breath. Here's what no one tells you. Speed is spiritual. Yes, grace is gentle, but instruction is swift. The people who live in overflow don't just have vision, they have velocity. They hear and they do. They feel and they see and they say yes before the fear speaks. Because they know obedience opens faster than effort ever could. Let's speak it into your spirit now. Let's anchor this shift deep into your subconscious. Not just in theory, but in truth. Say this slowly, rhythmically. I obey without fear. I trust without delay. I move with the whisper. I follow the divine instruction. I am no longer ruled by hesitation. I walk boldly into blessing. I respond and the path appears. I respond and the doors unlock. I respond and supply flows. Again. I respond and supply flows. I respond and supply flows. I respond and supply flows. Because the moment I move, the law moves with me. You see, you were never waiting on wealth. Wealth was waiting on you. It wasn't your timing that was off. It was your trust. But now the rhythm has returned. Now the flow can resume. Now the gates are ready. Because you've remembered what attracts. and you've released what repels. There is something miraculous about immediate obedience. It aligns us with the divine flow of life. When we trust in the moment, we allow blessings to multiply. This is the truth of our existence. Trust, and you shall be guided. It shifts your energy. It dissolves doubt. It closes the gap between asking and receiving. You don't just feel different, you become different. Because every time you act in faith, you are reborn as a stronger version of yourself. You are no longer just a believer. You are a participant in the law. And the law rewards those who participate. Don't let the ego confuse you. Obedience isn't control. It's not submission to someone else's rules. It's the ultimate form of alignment. It says, I trust that what I hear in spirit is more accurate than what I see in fear. It says, I believe that the invisible knows more than the visible ever could. It says, my faith is stronger than my fear. And every time you obey, you stretch your container for blessing. Every time you obey, you expand your capacity to receive. Every time you obey, you align yourself with divine motion. Let's slow down here. Let this settle. Because this is the turning point. This is not about doing more. This is about becoming unavailable for delay. It's about leaving behind the version of you that waits for permission. It's about grieving the part of you that needed to be sure before every step. Because certainty never comes first. Obedience does. And through obedience, you become certain. Let's speak this again, out loud if you can, or in your spirit if you must. Let every word be a declaration, not to the world, but to the part of you that still flinches. I obey the whisper. I don't need more time. I need more trust. I don't delay. I declare. I don't wait. I walk. I move before it makes sense. I act before it feels safe. I trust and I attract. I obey and I overflow. Say that again. Let it breathe between the lines. I obey and I overflow. I obey and I overflow. I obey and I overflow. Because wealth is not waiting on perfection. It's waiting on obedience. Now take a moment. Think back. How many miracles came into your life right after you obeyed a quiet instruction? You didn't know how it would work. You didn't feel ready. But something in you said, do it anyway. And when you did, the unexpected showed up. The call came. The payment cleared. The favor flowed. And all because you said yes without knowing what came after. That's not luck. That's spiritual law. The law doesn't need you to be perfect. It needs you to be present, available, willing, quick to respond. Because speed in spirit is not rushing. It is reverence. It means I honor this instruction so deeply, I will not keep it waiting. It means I value this whisper so fully, I won't drown it out with doubt. If you've been waiting, stalling, second-guessing, then this moment is your invitation to stop, to return to the divine rhythm, to trust again, to act again, to say yes even if your voice trembles. Because that first yes unlocks every yes that follows, and every door you need is waiting behind your next act of obedience. There is one law that wraps all the others together. It is the law of love. The truth of love is the most divine force in the universe. When we embrace this law, we align ourselves with the infinite. we shall see how love can multiply abundance and bring us closer to truth. Let love guide you. Let it be your highest law, a law so simple, yet so powerful that it decides the direction of your life before you even realize it. And it is this: the law of immediate obedience. When you honor it, you are lifted. When you ignore it, you are delayed. It governs doors. It governs timing. It governs provision. It decides whether what you prayed for finds you or waits for you until you're ready. And readiness is not a mood. It's a movement. Your old life was built on delay, on someday, on hesitation dressed as wisdom. But your new life, your wealth life, is built on quickened trust. Because the moment you say yes and step in alignment with the divine idea, the universe is commanded to rearrange. Things begin to shift. Support begins to show up. Resources begin to appear. Not because you forced it, but because you followed it. So now, let us declare your shift. Let us speak your obedience into form. Say this out loud. Let it become your new vibration. I do not hesitate. I do not stall. I move when spirit moves. I act when I am instructed. I obey even before I understand. I follow what is divine, not what is safe. I trust the whisper. I trust the law. I trust that obedience brings overflow. Again, I trust that obedience brings overflow. I trust that obedience brings overflow. Let it settle in your breath. The rich may seem confident, but their true power is in how fast they follow intuition. They don't wait for everyone to agree. They don't ask for one more sign. They don't pray over the same decision 10 times. They know, once Spirit has spoken, the matter is settled. Now comes the motion, and through motion comes manifestation. You are ready now. Ready to stop watching life from the sidelines. Ready to stop asking, what if? Ready to stop thinking your way out of every divine opportunity. This is the season of response. This is the era of trust. This is the hour of obedience. And everything you desire is already on the other side. Let's anchor it deeply now. Let the rhythm of obedience become your daily song. Let the sound of faith become the echo in your steps. Let every cell in your body remember who you are. I am aligned with divine rhythm. I move with purpose. I hear and I respond. I trust and I attract. I obey and I overflow. Because when you respond to the whisper, the universe responds to you. When you obey the moment, the door appears. And when you trust the law fulfills its promise. Obedience attracts, hesitation repels, and you are ready to attract. You no longer need more signs. You no longer need to delay. You no longer need to doubt. You simply need to respond. Because when the Spirit whispers, it is already done. Now, walk as if it is so.